Hello, Rob.
Hi, Lee.
So we're going to do an interview, and the way we start is I'm going to sing a few lines from a song that you let me know has meaning in your life, and then I'm going to ask you a question, see where we go from that.
Okay.
Give me a revelation, show me what to do, 'cause I've been trying to find my way and I haven't got a clue. So my question, Rob, is where does that song live in you right now?
Lives in my heart. And there's a crying out with that. There's a feeling of crying out because sometimes I've been trying to figure my own life out and keep running in circles. And there's this calling, there's this knowing that there can be a reaching out, there can be a reaching up, there can be an aiming up to to open myself to something more than I can understand or more than I know. And that song's like a prayer to that.
Rob, you talk about going in circles, which is such a common thing for me and others, this going in circles. And I guess with the people you work with, that seems to be a epidemic, going in circles.
How I relate to going in circles is that there's a coping mechanism happening there. There's some kind of loop happening that's has some intention to try to protect us from something, but it keeps having us repeat patterns that have negative side effects sometimes. I found that having relationship with those loops, checking in with those loops as if they're another person, can be really helpful because they have something to tell us about ourselves that we might not be in touch with. And that loop is there kind of getting helping us get attention to something that needs attention. Yeah, binge eating has been a part of my coping strategies for most of my life. And there's a going in circles of binge eating for a while and then trying to not do that for a while and gaining and losing weight all along the way. Um, I can't say it's fully resolved, but I can say that I might binge once a quarter instead of several times a week. And a lot of that is helping, has been understanding that there's a really scared little boy who's needing comfort, and that the binge eating gave a lot of comfort to that little boy. But as I'm having a relationship with that little scared guy, it's no longer needing that comfort as much because I'm comforting it now. And it's becoming a more whole little boy inside of me that doesn't need the same comfort. That's getting the love and the developmental happening that it didn't have when it was young.
I relate to the little scared boy. Binge eating was my issue most of my life until maybe 10 years ago, 60 pounds up, yo-yoing. This idea of which can relate to binge eating, it can relate to a lot of issues that people have. I'm thinking of men now for some reason. That little boy, that scared little boy. I guess I'm generalizing to realize that the scared little boy is what terrorists are acting on. It's what men do, the violence that men do, that is probably creating the all the issues we have in the world that that may be the end of the world or the end of our country or the end of democracy. How do you work? In what form do you work with men in dealing in coming to terms or in comforting that little boy, which seems to be, is that a major part of your work?
It is a major part of the work. Um, but the thing that needs to happen first is that those little boys have protectors. And those protectors, especially in men, can be very hard. very dense, practically immovable sometimes because they take on a heroic role of protecting the scared little boy. And some of their methods of protection can be aggressive or can be hurtful. um, that's not their concern. Their concern is the little boy inside. So then we go and start softening, start getting to know the protector, and let it know that, oh, an adult, we're here now. We're older now. We're not 3 years old, 6 years old, 8 years old. We're an adult, and we would like to help. And that's a beginning relationship with the protector to help it to soften its activity and eventually grant us permission to be with the scared little boy, because the scared little, you need permission from the protectors. Otherwise, you end up going in loops. For years, I've had in my stomach, I felt a ball of density, of nothing, of no feelings happening there. And it took me many years to be able to approach this density and see, oh, it's the something in me that pulls all the energy into it that I can't process, and just stores it there like a battery. And so as I've worked over the years to be with this dense ball and to start to have a relationship with it, it's softened. And then what I found inside was a scared little boy who's been protected from all these intense energies. I've had father figures who were really aggressive and would yell a lot and frighten me. So all that shock, all that loud noises, all got absorbed into the belly. And my belly's been quite big for most of my life as a shock absorber. But softening that shock absorber, and then letting the little boy feel the love and the security that it needed, let that density in the belly soften, and my belly shrinks in proportion to the amount of safety the little boy feels.
Yeah, this as you're talking, I'm somewhat in touch with this scared little boy. How do you work with men? How do you work with people around that scared little boy, that scared little girl? What's your specific uh, way of getting through?
My specific way of approaching the scared ones is, there is no need to get through. They're always there and available. What they're waiting for is a source of trust, a source of love, a source of unconditionality to show up, that's not going to try to fix them or change them or judge them, or but is going to be there to listen, to just be there and listen. And those scared little ones know how to share when the right environment shows, and unload the burden they've been carrying. And often there are feelings associated with this that happen. So we validate those feelings, and even feel those feelings with the young one, and say, wow, I can really see how hard this has been for you, and how much tears you have, and how much you've been holding inside. And all that lets them feel seen and heard and known. And that is the healing right there. We really, people just need to be, the little ones just need to be heard and seen and felt and validated. And then sometimes they even, in our mind's eye, appear to grow older and grow up right before our very eyes, once they've been able to release the burden they've been carrying from a certain time in their life.
Hmm. I'm moving between interviewing you about your work and feeling into the scared little boy who has so much experience trying to deal with this, getting
Mm.
great listening, wonderful insights. And I almost want to try a process with you right here where you're dealing with I don't want to call it an issue. I want to call it reality. I feel like I'm sitting in for all the scared little boys that are. I wonder how you can talk to me as a representative of the scared little boy inside, because I'm in touch with that right now without having any sense of a way out.
Okay, do I have permission to talk to the little one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, I'm Rob. Lee says you're scared. I wonder if you would like to let me know how life is for you.
Uh, Shaky, up and down,
Hmm.
constantly up and down, excitement, beautiful excitement, wonderful conversation.
Hmm.
And then a loss of continuity, a stopping, an end, a dead end,
Hmm.
hitting dead ends.
Yeah, what I'm hearing you tell me is there's a shaking, there's an excitement all up and down, and then there's dead ends, just nothing. Do I have that right? Yeah. Yeah. What else would you like me to know about how it is for you?
That I have no idea how to answer questions like that. No idea. I could just reach for something, but it's bullshit. I have no idea.
So I heard you say that you just have no idea how to even answer a question like that. And that's okay. You don't have to answer any questions. Yeah. What I'm wondering what it's like for you to be with me here now. How does that feel for you?
I have no idea how to answer the question of how something feels. I don't
Um,
know feels. I don't know feels.
yeah. Yeah. So you don't know how to tell how something feels in your body. You don't know feels. Hmm. 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 So I'm wondering what is life like for you right in this very moment? What are you seeing? What are you experiencing? What are you noticing?
Rob, I'm thinking about this conversation and how to make it ring, how to make it
Yeah.
useful, how to make it useful to me, how to make it useful to you, how to make it useful for anyone who watches some version of this. I'm calculating, I calculate, design, and calculate. And that's not just here. That's a general thing I am always doing. That's what I seem to do.
I'm hearing you described as a way of being, even as an adult, where there's a constant calculation happening in and around your space. What's happening? What's the outcome? Where are we going? Who's feeling this? Who's doing that? Yeah, it makes me wonder if there is a sense of profound feeling not safe driving the calculations. Yeah, yeah, that resonates. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Hmm. Of course, you're wanting to make sure you don't get caught by surprise, don't get hit upside the head, always looking and sensing and feeling your environment to make sure it's safe for you.
And I don't know how to compare lack of safety. I think there is a lack of safety, but it's like the fish in the ocean. I don't know it because it's there all the time.
Mhm.
Although I believe that as I watch other people during the holidays or all the social occasions, I seem to I sense that if I had to sense something, that people are not feeling unsafe in the room, in the table, at the table, that I'm the one who's feeling unsafe. And I work really hard to not put it on anyone. I work really hard to not show it, to not talk about it. It's almost as if that's my condition and I'm stuck with it and I have no idea what to do with it.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem to be common. I mean, I'm sure people don't feel safe in various situations, but in a social situation with people who are friends sitting around the table, why wouldn't I feel, oh, what's the not safety? It's like
Yeah.
almost any moment I could go off the deep end, or something could be misunderstood, or I have to be careful of how I try to be funny or how I try to be smart. Ah, I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be something.
So you just beautifully illustrated how the trying to be something, trying to be funny, monitoring how what's the response to what I'm saying, what's the all that. That's the perfect example of a protector. And that protector is protecting the one who's afraid by performing the calculations and analyzing and measuring and monitoring so that the little one doesn't feel unsafe. Yeah. So we would first have to get to know this protector a bit and get to understand it because we would need its permission to really do anything meaningful with the little scared one because it won't allow access.
So it's like I'm locked out. I'm locked out by the protector helping, but protector protecting me. I'm locked out of that. So what I get the understanding of what you're saying that that there's a gridlock
That's right. That's right.
that's keeping me unsafe. What
That's right.
what's my first step out of this self-imposed trap?
The first step is to notice that there is a protector here and that you are also here. Yeah. To get a little sliver of space between you and the protector because often the protector just operates as the identity of Lee and you're what we call blended. You're blended with the protector. You're just this guy who calculates and tries to make jokes and tries to create a safe space. But now you have to see, oh, that's a part of me that's doing all these calculations, but that actually isn't me. It's just a part of me. So that you can have, and you need to have to disidentify with the one who's doing this behavior so that you can have a relationship with this one and start to build trust because this one will not stop and we don't want this one to stop its job until it meets you and starts to have trust with the true essence of Lee that can now um, show some unconditionality and some wiseness and awareness to let this protector soften and relax and then give us permission to be with the scared little one.
That little sliver of distance between who I take me to be and this part that's doing its best.
Yes.
So, what I'm going to take with me, Rob, is the subtle idea of the sliver, the positioning of me, and this wonderful part of me who's doing a great job. Sliver. The word sliver has become my mantra for this next step. Sliver. How does that idea of what a sliver is, like a little daylight. I feel like being in a tunnel and you find a sliver of daylight. How is that sliver idea? How is that an integral part of your work or how you work with people?
Mm. It's integral to the work because let's take an emotion, for instance, when we might feel angry, when we blend with that anger, we actually become anger. We take on the embodiment of anger. But if we can say instead, oh, I notice there's anger here. Now it's like, well, there's a little bit of just a tiny bit of space between me and the anger. Now I can see the anger isn't all consuming me. It's here, but it's not consuming me. It's not all of me. It's just a part of me. And now I can be with that anger and let it naturally come, let it inhabit my body in some way, in a healthy way, and let it run its course because it probably has a lesson to teach me. And then, so now we're back to the theme of having a relationship. So the sliver of space is a way to have relationship with the different processes and parts of us rather than being identified with them and blending with them so we can't even tell us from apart from them.
What we're talking now about, I'm not the anger, that's just a part. When I say I am angry, I could just say there's a part of me that's angry, that's so much more healthy, that's so much more realistic. And that's what focusing is about, which I've been dipping into over the years. So suddenly something that I thought I knew a while ago is coming back so simply again. How does this re-education of a human being happen?
Yeah, it's my experience that I have to keep walking the same roads again and again, but it seems that each time maybe I've learned a little something more and then I forget and then I learn a little something more and I just keep spiraling up into this place of having I just have to keep revisiting
Hmm.
and it's a practice.
Thank you, Rob. I'm coming away with this with a mantra sliver. That's the word now. Anytime I'm not, I seem to be confusing myself with parts of myself. I'll go, oh, sliver. Where's the sliver? I'll look for the space, look for the light at the end of the tunnel, or just sense that little sliver
Mhm.
because that's what's going to open up into something new for me. Thank you, Rob. Does that make sense?
Beautifully said. That makes total sense, Lee. And you said it beautifully.
And maybe we'll do a chapter two when I have something to report.
That would be great. I would love that.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Lee.